Hey guys, it's Lisa here to do a board game review of The Flow of History. This is my first ever video review. I have a list of other reviews I've done that are mostly written but with some annotated silly pictures in it, and you can access that list. I'll include the link down below. It's on Board Game Geek and it's under my user profile, Hey Lisa Renee, and I do have a geek list made for that as well, should you be interested in checking that out. So some of you may be wondering why I decided to go from written review to video review. Okay, so maybe like two of you are wondering, but I'm going to tell everybody anyway. I happened to be on Twitter at the right time when Lance Mixter, also known as Undead Viking, was on Twitter at the same time, and he said he was looking for a lesser known video reviewer to review this game, The Flow of History. And like honestly, it doesn't get much lesser known than me, as I've never done it before. So I asked Lance if it was something I could do, and in his gracious spirit, he said, "Do you have a video camera?" And I said, "Yep." And he said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." And that's how it happened. It's pretty magical. Alright, and a little disclosure here, I am reviewing because he asked me to, but all opinions are my own, and I'm not compensated in any way from TMG, from Lance, from Jesse Lee, the designer, no one. These are all my opinions, and I didn't get any compensation at all. Alright, some quick facts about the game before we hit the table. The game is The Flow of History. The designer is Jesse Lee. And it plays 3 to 5 people and takes about 60 to 90 minutes. And I would classify this, having played it, as like a medium light or a light medium, somewhere in that zone, as far as board game weight. Alright, enough about me, enough about the background. Let's hit the table and see the game. Alright guys, this is the first game we played. This is the actual finishing hand that I had, or finished tableau, I guess, that I had. So I will show you a couple of different elements. The cards in the middle to kind of give you a better overview of what they look like, what it feels like, and that sort of thing. So, the first thing I want to hit on is the rule book. It is a very small rule book, so it's not very intimidating, which is great, but it's also very thorough, which is awesome too. I play games with people who play games often, and I don't usually have to teach games. So, for me, learning this game to teach it, to review it, was like kind of intimidating, but it actually went really well, and the game is explained really, really well to learn it, so that's cool. All the iconography is explained, so kudos to the solid rulebook here. Other thing that made this game super easy to review and learn and teach was these amazing, amazing player aids. They are super, they're good quality, so they're not like the little flimsy paper. Each different option for your action phase is explained in detail with icons and everything. I mean, it's really, really well done. So that's a big kudos to that too. End of game scoring is explained here, and all of these are more icons that appear on the cards as you take them or play them or whatever, and all of that's explained. And every player gets one of these, so you may or may not know this about me, but anybody who's ever played games with me knows how much I love either my own player mat, or at the very least my own player aid, so I don't have to constantly ask questions about stuff. It's all right here for me, so yes. Alright, so let's go through some of the actions for the game so you can kind of get an idea of how it goes. The first thing, the first option for your actions that you can do is you can invest on a card. And what that means is you put your player on the card, and then you invest however many resource tokens you choose to decide to invest on that card as well. Congratulations, you have successfully invested in a card as an action. The second action available to you is to complete an invested card. So, if everybody's taken their turn, and my guy and my resource tokens are still available, I can complete that card. It can be the next turn, it can be 10 turns from when I've invested on it, it doesn't matter. I can complete it if it's gone all the way around to everybody. So to complete it, you take the resource tokens you've invested, put them in the supply, take your little dude back, and then you add this to your tableau. Third action available to you is called sniping. And what that is it's a way to be a jerk. So yellow is going to be the jerk in this example. I'm invested in this card. I'm just waiting for it to get back to me when I have a chance to complete it. Yellow decides they really want to have Gandhi as their leader. So to snipe it, what you do is you have to pay the amount of resource tokens that are already invested on the card to the player. So these resource tokens would come to me, to my personal supply. They go on the card, I come back, and all these resource tokens go here. The card is now theirs, and then these resource tokens are divided up. There's some rules about those which I won't get into, but are really well explained. But anyway, so if you get sniped, you still get a benefit. You get some more resource tokens for more bidding and stuff later. And resource tokens, every once in a while, can be used to do different abilities on cards. But for the most part, resource tokens are used for bidding on the tableau out here. Personally, in the game we played, I was sniped a lot in the beginning, like a lot. And I was really worried about it because my tableau was not building as well as the other players around the table. And so I was worried that I kept getting sniped and it was going to be an unfair, you know, kind of balance, whatever. But what ended up happening is I ended up being able to bid higher and just diversify differently with that. So I ended up winning the game, which is really cool. But knowing that sniping, like that, how it works in this game works well. It's not like a, if you get sniped, you're sunk kind of deal. There's a benefit to both parties, but it's also not an overpowered action to take. So that's nice. The fourth option available to you for an action is to activate a card. I don't have any cards that I can activate out here, but I did get one from the box. So you can see to activate a card is this little gear symbol right here, and then on here there's just a turn action. So as your turn action, you can do what is printed on this card if it is available to you. As long as that card is in your tableau on the top most section of a pile. There is a better way to say that. Sorry. All right, and the final action available to you is to harvest. What you do is you count the amount of harvest icons, which are these little guys, they're little sprouts. You take that many resources from the reserve pool and add them to the supply. At that point, you take half of the supply rounded down. So this is a good option if the supply here is getting full and you feel like you want to take some of those for bidding in future rounds, or if you really just don't have anything else you can do that. If you don't have any resource tokens, that would be a good thing to do to harvest just so you can get more going. It's not a wasted action, but it is almost a wasted action, depending on when you use it. If the resource pool is full, I feel like it's a good action. When you're just desperate for resource tokens, I feel like it's kind of sad, but it does give you the option to get more in your pool to do stuff, which keeps the game balanced as well, so you're never really out of it. All right, so those are the different actions you can do in the game. There are different types of, there's governments, there's knowledge, there's war, all of that stuff. I'm not going to go into like the detailed complexities of the game because this is a very casual review, but anyway, that's how kind of that stuff works. This is again what the winning tableau looked like, and at the end of game, how you tally up points is very well explained also. So everybody has this information the whole time. As you're building your tableau, you kind of know what's going to score you points and kind of what you want to chain together to get stuff, so that's cool. I will hit on one gameplay element that I really liked, and that is the effects timing. There are some cards that happen instantly, so the minute you play them, you get something. So for me, I ended up getting satellites at the end, and how I got that was I invested it and completed it. And as soon as I take that into my tableau, I get the top card of the civilization deck. And what happened to be the top card of the civilization deck was the internet. So that worked out really well for me for timing, because that's 4 culture icons, which is 4 points straight up. So that's great. Other things that happen instantly are any attacks. So attack is with one little axe or hatchet, and attack all is with multiple hatchets. So as soon as this one came to my tableau and this one came to my tableau, on different rounds obviously, that happens immediately. So what you do is you tally up your military strength against other people's military strength, and if it's attack, it's one person and you get to choose as long as your strength is greater. If it's attack all, it's everybody whose strength is less than yours. So those are kind of neat elements thrown in there too. Overall, I feel like the game is a really, really nice balance of building your own tableau and getting in each other's business. Again, with this bidding mechanism in the middle, it's a nice way to see what other people are taking and building and to disrupt that if you can. The bidding is nice because, or the investing, I guess. Investing is nice because even if you don't want that card and you know someone else does, it gives you an advantage to put your guy there because you're going to get your resource tokens and more out of it. So that's nice. But yeah, so it balances your tableau building with everybody else's in a way that not all tableau building games can.
several that I've played before have, where you're so focused on your own thing that you don't even really know what's going on around the table. This forces a little more of that interaction, so I like that a lot too. I played with Corey, Jeremy, Andrew, and myself. We'll start with Corey's thoughts. Corey liked the quality of cards. They're a thicker, they're easy to grab. They have a little natural bend in them from the package, which I think made it nice too for picking them up off the table. But anyway, they're a good quality card. These aren't sleeved or anything, so they came looking pretty nice. Something he did not like about the game was that the cards are static. So every card in Age 1 is always going to be in Age 1, and every card in Age 2 is always going to be in Age 2, etc. So you know what cards are coming. The more you play, the more familiar you get with the different cards that are going to come out. So you may be waiting for a card to come out, or, oh, I'm not going to build Democracy because I know something else is coming. I don't know, whatever. So, and I get that too. So it's static. The cards will obviously come out in a different order every time because you shuffle each age and stack them on top of each other. So that will be different, but the cards remain static. Okay. Jeremy's thoughts were, he likes it a lot even though he did bad. And that is a direct quote from him. I'm not projecting. And one of the reasons why he got the lowest score is because his overall attack defense with the war, the attacks that would come out, is he was always the lowest guy. So if I would do an attack, he was the only one that was lower than me, and you see I have 3 attack cards out here. Oh, four attack cards out here, so I attacked him all of those times. Alright, Andrew's thoughts were, he was initially wary of the generic resource tokens, but then when he realized how they were used in Forbidding and kind of how you got them and how they were used, he liked those a lot more, but he was kind of wary about the generic resource tokens, he said. He thinks it was a slick little game, really liked it. We played a lot of Through the Ages, so this part feels familiar to me, but obviously Through the Ages is a much heavier, much more complex, and much more, like, cutthroat game. But yeah, so a lot of the civilization building was very familiar to both of us, so we liked that. And my personal thoughts as I was playing it was, it kind of reminded me of Seven Wonders a little bit with the resources being on, or the, I don't know, tokens being on your cards here. So when you're tallying things up, you're looking at icons. So you don't have like a stack of like, oh, I have 7 military, like you have to count here. So that felt very much like Seven Wonders to me. Again, it felt like Through the Ages with just some of the stuff like the internet and Napoleon and how you're building wonders and you're getting leaders. Like that felt very Through the Ages for me, but that's just because it's a civilization-driven game, I think. So please don't think that this is the same weight as Through the Ages, because it is not. But I love Through the Ages, and I think maybe that helped me love this one from the get-go. The only thing I'm not crazy about with this game is that you have to have 3 people to play it. I wish there were a 2-player variant, and I understand why there's not, because of the different mechanics of instant cards and attack cards and stuff like that. Like, I get it, but it just, as someone who has a spouse that I play games with often, it's just 2 of us, that is kind of a bummer to me that we have to have at least 3 to get it to the table.
Alright, and that is my casual review of The Flow of History by Jessie Lee. I highly recommend it for people who enjoy tableau building with a little bit of interaction and kind of in each other's business, but still very forgiving, and probably one of the best tableau builders I've played in a long time. So thanks for watching, and happy gaming.